My dear audience, Assalamu alaikum. In my program Reporter Online, I welcome you all in Islamabad Marriott Hotel. Today is the National Day of South Africa, which is celebrating with deep, heartiest spirit of love. All the members of South African High Commission are happy and enjoying. On this special occasion, I am going to talk with different High Commissioners, ambassadors and their family members. But first of all, I want to tell you something about South Africa. Dear viewers, in this country they proved political stability, well-established reputation for corporate governance. South Africa is the gateway to Africa and Asia. They boast world-class infrastructure. English is their widely spoken language. Currently, British financial services are releasing that 40% of their cost savings are in their South Africa-based call centers. Cape Town is the leading call centers location in South Africa. Multinationals are expanding their presence in South Africa. South Africa, magnificent outdoors, cultural diversity and reputation for delivering value for money have made it one of the world's fastest growing holiday destination. Moreover, 5 of the 10 highest rated hotels in the world came from South Africa. 7 United Nations World Heritage Sites are located in South Africa. 8 of the world top 10 component manufacturers and 3 of the 4 largest tire makers are invested in the country. All right-hand drive models of Mercedes-Benz and BMW 3 Series built in South Africa. Dear audience, General Louis Botha headed the first government of the new union with General Jan Smuth as his deputy. Their South African National Party, later known as the South African Party, followed a general pro-British white unity line. The more radical Boers split away under the leadership of General Barry Hertzog, forming the National Party in 1940. The NP championed Afrikaners' interests, advocating separate development for the 2 white groups and independence from Britain. In 1924, the NP under Hertzog came to power in a coalition government with the Labour Party, and Afrikaner nationalism gained greater hold. From 1948, successive National Party administrations formalized and extended the existing system of segregation and denial of rights into the legal system, which lasted until the 19th century, although many important events occurred during this period, as well as the release of Nelson Mandela on 2nd February 1990, which signals the beginning of a transition to democracy. In the referendum held on March 17, 1992, a white electorate voted 68%. From April 26 to 29, 1994, the South African population voted in the first universal suffrage general election. The African National Congress won election to govern for the very first time, leaving the National Party. Nelson Mandela was elected as president on 9th May 1994 and formed, according to the interim Constitution of 1993, a government of national unity consisting of the ANC, the NP and in Katha. On May 10th, Mandela was inaugurated as South Africa's new president in Pretoria, and Thabo Mbeki and F. de Klerk as his vice president. In 2003, Mbeki maneuvered the ANC to a two-thirds majority in parliament for the first time. My dear viewers, this time I am standing very near to the High Commissioner of South Africa, Mr. Daniel Jabulani Mavi Membala, who is looking very much busy to warmly welcome all the respected guests. Now I am going to know his feelings and expression on this special day.
Channels. Okay. One is in Punjabi language and second one is Urdu language. Okay. This is the most popular television channel in Pakistan because it is the only one channel in Punjabi. Therefore, I want to know your expression and your feelings.
Okay, my name is Jabu Mafimbela. I'm a South African High Commission to Pakistan, and I've been here since 2006. And we are involved in building up our relations with the Pakistani government and people of Pakistan. At a political level, our relations are very good between the two countries. What is important now is to strengthen our economic relations, which is what we are working on currently with the government to ensure that we improve the relations between the two countries. Goal to strengthen our relations with Pakistan. You know, at the present moment, there's a little contact between the two countries, particularly at people-to-people level. That is why now we're looking in the field of education, in the field of health, in other fields of social engagement and interaction with the people of Pakistan.
Can you give me some message for the public of Pakistan?
First, let me congratulate the people of Pakistan for successful elections that they've held on the 18th of February. The elections was very successful. Let me congratulate the people and government of Pakistan for the successful holding of the elections. And then also let me wish the new government and the new parliament very much good luck and prosperous future to ensure that the Pakistani people, the economic, the social and economic situation of the Pakistani people is improved. To wish them a very good luck. Thank you very much, and so nice of you.
My dear viewers, this time I am seeing that a large number of guests are standing around a person who is the Saudi Arabian ambassador, Mr. Ali Asiri. Dear audience, Mr. Ali Asiri is the most famous and popular ambassador not only in capital Islamabad, but he is also very much popular and respectable in all over Pakistan as well as journalist community. He is such type of ambassador who worked day and night with dedication and honesty for strengthen the relationship between two brother countries, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. I feel no hesitation to say that total credit goes to Ali Asiri, that due to his remarkable and marvelous efforts, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia is very close in all over the world. Now I am going to talk with him.
I want to know your expression on this special day for the people of Pakistan.
Well, let me make it clear that we in Saudi Arabia would love to see and wish and pray to see a united, strong, sovereign and stable Pakistan. This is my message in this day, and we wish everybody in Pakistan the best, and unity and cohesion among all the political forces is the answer to the future of Pakistan. The feelings are very reciprocal. We love this country and we love the people of Pakistan, and our relationship with Pakistan is so unique, so profound that you cannot compare it with any other countries. What we need to do is translate this love and affection economically between the two countries, between the private sectors and the two countries, so the people of both countries in the private sector can benefit from this love and affection. Well, thank you very much. I think it's just simply because I love them all. And I feel at home here. I don't really feel I am in a different country. And everybody is so kind. Me and my family, this is our 8th year here. And it passed so quick that we don't feel it because we are among our families, among our friends, among our brothers and sisters. So, that's, we cannot fake the relationship. It is genuine, it comes from our heart. And believe me, the love and respect we have for the people of Pakistan